We did it! The race atmosphere was something we've never experienced.
It was the best race I've ever been a part of.
It was so cool. Like,
So helpful, all the volunteers.
yeah.
Race recap.
The swim. This was one of the things I was most nervous about.
Definitely nervous about the swim.
But it surprisingly went well. Before the swim, I think we were both like super nervous standing in our wetsuits. Everyone around us was like super nervous too, especially people when it was their first time. It just felt like it took forever for the race to actually start. I think that was like one of the worst parts, just waiting to finally be able to swim.
But I really liked the swim overall.
That was my first triathlon ever, so I had no
Yay.
experience. Which I wouldn't recommend having a 70.3 be your first triathlon ever.
Really?
I'm glad I did it like that, but Kelsey probably did it the right way. She had
sprints.
you had two
before that
sprints
one.
under your belt, so you knew kind of what to expect a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah. How did we feel out of the water after the swim?
I felt pretty good. I was happy it was over, and I was like excited to get on the bike.
So what happened when you got out of the water?
Super nice. They had people that unzipped your wetsuit, which I didn't even realize that they did that to me. And then there was the wetsuit strippers. And just running to your bike.
Yeah. So when you got out of the water, did you feel really tired, or do you think you
No.
felt good?
I felt good. I feel like my adrenaline was just pumping.
In this swim, Chattanooga, at least for me, I would not look up and try to see way ahead because it's gonna look like you have forever. Just, at least for us, what worked, we just looked at the next buoy. That's the next goal, is the next buoy, and you just keep working. The swim too, a few people who were obviously like panicking, and what they did was just lay on their backs. So that's what we were taught from other people. Just lay on your back. Well, people have said that, like, if you start panicking in the water, you can just float on your back. Like, don't, like, you know, because you saw somebody get pulled out of the water.
You could just tread water too, if you're comfortable doing that.
Right. Let's talk about the bike. You go first.
The bike. I feel like the mount line was different than like a local tri race because you ran out of transition and then you had to wait. You had to like run to a traffic light until you could like mount your bike. Really liked the bike. It was hard in Chattanooga because it's so hilly, but at least the downhill was like very fast. I think I got up to like 40 miles an hour at one point, which was pretty cool. Going up those hills, I guess I don't know if I wasn't expecting there to be so many or just so many that were like decently high, it felt like to me, coming from like flat Ohio. It was kind of not shocking because like we knew it was going to be hilly, but it was just kind of like another one.
During the bike, I just accepted that this was going to suck because every time you went up a hill and down, you knew there was like a million more hills.
And so, you also don't have a tri bike. You have your road bike.
I have a road bike, which is fine. Tons of people did it on a road bike.
Yeah. Mile 25 or 26. I went to go in my small ring and my chain popped but
you were able to fix it.
Got it fixed
pretty quick.
Just a couple minutes.
How'd you feel about your gearing up and down hills, switching gears into appropriate gears?
I feel like I was good on that, yeah. I feel like on the downhill, I tried to take the advice of people that said, like, don't use it as a rest. Like, put it in a harder gear and, like, try to go faster down the hill, because then, obviously, that helps you up your next hill.
I felt pretty good with my gears. I'm so happy we practiced, because I'm still a beginner cyclist, but when we first started, I was gearing it out, or whatever they call it, when you're in the harder gear.
Oh.
That's how I used to ride. I wouldn't even really switch gears that much. But if I would have done that in this race, my legs would have been dead. And we saw a lot of people doing that. You can just tell if people aren't turning their pedals quick.
Like having a high cadence.
A high cadence up a hill, and they're just gearing it out. They're like
wearing their legs out.
I don't even know how. Those people probably are, I don't know what happened to them on the run, because
died on the run.
That's like a no. And then a little bit more about the bike. Everybody at Chattanooga was talking about the St. Andrews Hill. So, right, that's what it's called.
That's the one I popped my chain on.
Yeah. So everyone was talking about how that hill was
Or Andrews. Might just be
Andrews Hill.
Yeah.
It was like this super crazy hill, and there was already tons of crazy hills. So I'm thinking, I'm tired. I was like 20 miles out. It was supposed to be at mile 24. And mentally it was hard for me because I was like, oh my gosh, am I about to have to go up a mountain? And it wasn't that bad at all.
Well, I popped my chain, but
You did, but
it still
overall,
wasn't that bad.
the hill, it was just another hill. There's a million of them.
There's a lot of people though, like having issues that were off to the side. Like some girl went like off the course, like into a ditch, and there was like a couple of people, like me included, that were stopped on the side with like, I don't know, chain issues or tire issues. So
Yeah.
if you don't know it's there, you might be surprised by it. But if you know it's there, I feel like
And you put it
gear
in
correctly.
Yeah, in your easiest gears, you're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
I didn't have to walk my bike up, and like I said, I'm a very beginner cyclist, so there were some people walking their bikes, but maybe I don't know what happened. After I got past that hill, mentally I felt so much better. I was like, you got this.
Yeah.
But I will say the last 15 miles of this 56-mile course, my feet were absolutely killing me. I feel like they were swollen. My butt region area, all around there, oh my gosh, I had to keep standing on my bike, sitting, standing, while trying to like keep going, and that was painful this last 15 miles, but I was so happy we're almost done.
The run. I got off my bike feeling pretty good about the run. Then starting it, like actually running, I had really bad side stitches like on my right side. Probably, I would say pretty bad through the first 6 miles. I had really bad cramps, and I realized it was from the heat and probably not having enough salt. The aid stations were super helpful because they were at every single mile. So at every aid station I stopped and got water or electrolytes or an orange or Coke or something, which was super helpful. Went away for like probably from miles 7 to 10, and then they came back really badly at mile 10, and I had to walk for like 30 seconds just because they were so bad. But then I was able to finish strong on the run, which was nice. But it was way hotter in Chattanooga than I think people thought it was going to be.
It was
like
so
95
hot.
degrees or something.
We were both really nervous about the swim before the race, and then when we got to Chattanooga and felt how hot it was, I think we both realized the run was going to be super hard just because it was so hot. After doing all that activity and then having to run a half marathon in the heat. We were both like, oh boy.
I feel like at first we were like confident because we've done like a handful of half marathons.
We were like, oh, we can't wait till we get to the run. We can do that.
And you've done one in Alabama in
I have,
July.
but this was way harder than that. Times a
Yeah,
million.
I wasn't expecting it to be. I mean, I was obviously expecting it to be hard, but I wasn't expecting it to be
That hard.
Yeah, like for the run, just because we have done that, whereas we haven't done that bike or swam.
It's funny, before we even got to Chattanooga, I think we both were like, at least I was like, I'm not gonna, I might stop at the aid stations, but maybe I won't, who knows. No, every single mile, just like the buoy, you just had to think of the mile ahead of you. You couldn't think, I have 13 miles ahead of me. I have 12. Just, okay, one more mile done. Let's move on to the next one. Volunteers were
amazing.
Absolutely incredible. Like that.
Yeah, if that was your first half marathon, kudos, because that
job.
Sucked.
Yeah, I can't imagine that being your first half marathon.
Yeah. My legs honestly felt fine. It was like my side stitches and cramps which did me in. I will say the last like 3 miles, my hamstrings and quads started to hurt a little more, probably just like pounding on that concrete.
And all the biking.
Yeah,
my legs, like once I started, I felt pretty good. I was so hot though. I think the heat really took a toll on me. My legs did feel tired, but it wasn't like at a point where I couldn't keep moving,
Yeah.
I think overall everything just felt like started to feel some exhaustion from the heat and just doing the full distance of the bike and the swim.
Did you feel crossing the finish line?
I feel like I was so exhausted. I was like in another like world because I forgot like they take your picture right there. I just ran through without even looking at the camera.
And you had someone cheering you on.
She was cheering me on, which was awesome. And your mom, which was awesome, and Goose.
Yeah.
Goosey! Crossing the finish at that 70.3 was, the whole experience was one of the most rewarding experiences I think we've ever had. It's just like, we were talking about it, the races we've done have all pretty much been running. You've done a couple triathlons.
Mm-hmm.
I've done one duathlon. But this was just like so cool. I can't even articulate how awesome it was. I think all the hours we put in to get to that point where we could actually complete such an endurance event, and then completing it was just like a high that I haven't felt from other athletic events, even like honestly even like high school, like sports and stuff. Like this was just like a different level.
Yeah, this feels like the most like effort I've ever put into anything athletically, which is funny because like I did Division I track, and this is like, I feel like I've put so much more effort into training for this, and it's been like so rewarding. It just seems like there's a really cool community, not just in like triathlon, I mean there is in general, but also like the Ironman type of community.
Yeah, everyone's so supportive. We told people it was our first one. They gave us all these tips. We talked to a girl that has been to the World Championships and has done multiple Ironmans. She was full Ironmans.
Yeah, she's a badass.
And she was so sweet and nice and just willing to like stand there and talk to us in the heat the night before the race and just like tell us like it's gonna be okay, basically.
What's next? We are going to do the Ohio 70.3 in Sandusky, Ohio.
Woo woo!
On July 19th. Might as well keep the training going.
And hopefully we both can PR. Now we have a PR. We just got our PR, and now we're gonna try to PR our PR.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
The PR.
Yeah.
Get a new PR.
Get a new PR. Because we just PR'd.
Yeah.
We PR'd by a ton.
Yeah.
Yeah. Goose, it's just a person talking. Hey! We will document some of that training.
Yes.
See you next time.
See you next time.
Thanks for watching. Goose. Goodbye. Stop it.